Hello everyone, I'm Taos48, Husky Gaming 365, back at it with the Aviation podcast. This will be a Saturday edition. Today's episode. Yes, you're reading that correctly. Max update, Max in service as soon as October. What's the plan? Find out. Boeing reports profit loss, and it's all because of the Max. And last but not least, there's been recall on the GE9X. It's only 4 units. We will go into more details. First off, the Max. There's an update. It was a Seattle Times article I found. They are working their spoilers off to get the Max up. It may be flying as soon as October if all goes according to plan.
Man, that's if something else doesn't pop up that'll make them go, oh, well, we're going to have to delay it again.
Yes, exactly. Now, this being said, that means the FAA and the Boeing are hosting simulator sessions with the update, and then eventually I think the goal is, from what I picked up, eventually transfer it into the airplanes, get the FAA to test it, maybe do some actual flight training with it, and Max flies again, at least here in the States.
Maybe in the States, but
Other countries, I don't know, but we may very well see Max again here in the States as early as October if all goes according to plan.
But then that means they still have to do test flights before they can actually certify it to fly again.
Yes, and who knows how long that's going to take. Because it's a test flight. You know, they may have to, they may intentionally do a steep takeoff and see if it triggers it. And when it triggers, the real trick will be, when they override it, how quickly can they pull back on the yoke again? When they override it, how quickly are they able to pull back and level off? How quickly will the computer give them control of the stick? That's going to be the key.
But then not even that. But then apparently, when they said, "Oh, I think it's ready to fly," and then they found the issue with the trim wheels. They need to see if the issue with the trim wheels are fixed, because apparently there was something wrong with the trim wheels. How it would just randomly start turning itself. Which, of course, you put passengers on a plane with a runaway trim wheel, and that's asking for a crash.
Now, the slats issue, which this is hella old, that only affected, some of the older new Gen 7s, didn't it? That wasn't a problem with the Max. That slat recall? That seems like years ago, eons ago now.
I did remember hearing something about the slats of next-gen aircraft. And
I don't think that affected the Max, though. I think that was only, older new Gen 7s and 8s.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing about it. Alright. That's the update on the Max, as we stated, early October in the United States and maybe Canada. Other countries, no guarantees.
It depends.
And that's actually a good segue to the next topic. That is, Boeing is reporting profit loss, and you'll never guess why. The shit show that is the Max, and apologies for the language there.
It's been issues with the Max. It's been trying to get some deliveries for their Dreamliners and next-gen aircraft and other stuff. That's just been really affecting them pretty badly, and they've been reporting losses again.
And I hate to completely go off rails here, but I also, on the topic of profits and companies, Airbus might have a customer for the A330 8 series. Garuda Indonesia expressed interest in 4 of them. And if
Mm-hmm.
you recall the most recent podcast, which I'm pretty sure was the Paris recap, you will know that we stated they were annoyed that no one took interest in it. Anyway, yeah, so Boeing's got stuff going on. It's obviously not just the Max, but that seems to be the major stone right now. Is the Max
Yeah,
issues are just they're
it's really
having
been
problems.
it's really been killing them. They used to have a bunch of planes delivered at one point.
In fact, you
And
can
what they
go
put,
on if you follow me CMH Spotter on Instagram. I might have posted it, but I memed a picture. No, I saw it was an idea from somewhere. I think it's gotten to the point where Boeing's putting them out in parking lots at their factories
mm-hmm, and they're just sitting there, and they can't do anything about it until the max, unless the federal government
because
feels the max is ready to fly again.
they've got. I mean, those parking spots they have on property on the sanitary side of the fence, so the active side where you have to have credentials to go. There's no room over there
Mm-mm.
because there's planes nose to tail in the actual parking rows, and then your taxi rows where they go back and forth. There's planes nose to tail in those too. So
Oh
they
yeah,
are literally
it's real
having
bad.
to rope off a big chunk of parking lot, park Maxes out there, and wheel chalk them, and then rope them off because they
Mm-hmm.
have no space.
No,
I think it's even gotten to the point now where they're having to take them across the street to Everett itself
and actually, I think
because there's
it's
no room
getting
at Renton.
no, and it's getting so bad to the point where if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're actually planning on temporarily halting max production because they can't handle the backlog of tailbacks and planes of.
Planes on plane on plane on plane on plane where they've got no room
Mhm.
now. They're out of
No,
room.
they can't put any. They can't. There's no more room to put them, and now they got to figure out. Well, we can't fly them anywhere, and if I mean, well, we could, but we'd have to do it under supervision of probably the National Guard, and we
I
don't want to
mean,
do that.
where else are they going to park them? I doubt military installations are going to want them at Air Force bases, at military air bases.
Mm-mm.
Because that's just, you know, the military's going to have a fit about that. I mean, and I don't know if Victorville really wants them out. I know Southwest is, you know, how many more airplanes can Victorville take? Yes, that's the junkyard, but are they willing to take some?
Yeah.
Or
I.
cause, I mean that's like that and maybe Arizona are like the only places I could think of that you could keep them. It's low humidity and whatnot. I know they're new airplanes, but still,
Mm-hmm.
them sitting around like the way how long some of these airplanes have been sitting around, there might be some teething problems getting them to fire up and whatnot.
Yeah, it's
Although I don't,
been.
I doubt there's any fuel in some. I doubt most of them don't have any fuel on the lines. As I bet you they haven't even loaded them with fuel yet because they can't even do test flights.
Nope.
So they might,
And that's.
so
It's been.
they may not be puffing smoke bubbles trying to start them. The real
No.
question is, are the batteries going to be okay?
The electronics, the avionics.
Are the when they do go around to start testing them on the actual physical ordered ones from airlines? Are they going to fire up okay? Or are they going to have to rely on ground electricity just to turn the batteries on?
Because it's just been sitting there
And
for
they've been sitting
ages,
there for so long untouched.
for
Now they're
months
going to
and
have to
months and
worry
months, just
about,
sitting there.
okay, are these airplanes even going to start up electronics wise?
Yeah.
Because some of them, who knows the last time the electronics were fired up if you're an ordered airplane?
If or when they've been fired up.
They had to have been fired up in the factory, though, because they have to make sure all the PFDs and MFDs are working. That's the thing.
Yeah, true.
Alright, that's enough on revenue and whatnot. So, this one was in the FlightAware Aviation Weekly email that came out yesterday.
GE
has to,
apparently having issues with the compressor. Lovely.
and the 9X. Now, I read it myself. It was only in 4 engines. So there's a big unknown if it's affecting all the 9X engines that are out there.
So,
But
so
if
what
it's
they've had to recall 4 GE9X units.
so obviously that's
Is
going to affect 2 777Xs
yeah,
because
which is
Boeing,
I
like
mean
most companies,
two is better than 100. I'll say that now.
because Boeing's method is just-in-time delivery, which means they get it so those engines do not show up to Everett until maybe a day or two before they plug them into the airplanes.
Oh
They will not, they don't like parts sitting around.
no.
The last time an engine sitting on the big thing, the pallet, the better.
Mm-hmm. Uh.
What
So
it,
hopefully, whatever the situation is, GE will be able to fix it because that kind of sucks. No,
and
but it happens. Something some life. It's life that happens. So
and just a
maybe
fun
maybe
fact,
they'll.
obviously this is an image of it on a 7.4. I've trimmed some of the image down. The GE testbed, that's a 747 that engine's on. Just a little note of comparison for size. That engine is so big, you can fit, and yes, I just put the max image back on screen. A 7.3 fuselage will fit within that engine. If you take all the internals out and just have the outer shell, a 7.3 fuselage will fit in that shell of that engine.
That's insane. That is
That is
truly
how big
insane.
that engine is.
Yeah, the now world's largest jet
Engine.
engine. Mm-hmm.
And a few weeks
Largest
ago,
commercial engine.
I don't know. Actually, Paris might not be the most recent video. I remember seeing something when we might have covered it. The 777X has been doing ground testing.
Oh yeah. Then it did its first taxi not too long ago.
So
Then it did its
it's
first rejected takeoff, maybe not even 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. I don't
so
exactly know.
the test production models of the 777X are out there. They're doing all their on the ground. They're kind of still in the on the ground phase of testing.
Mm-hmm.
So once they get the on the ground testing phase done, which who knows how much longer that's going to take, then they'll start taking it up in the air and rocking it back and forth with the gear and the flaps and stalling it and seeing how it reacts and this and that. So
Yeah.
it's not like buying a car where you can just walk in and be like, I want that one. No, no, no. You
Mm-mm.
order an airplane, you're waiting
They're gonna
close.
make.
You're
They're
wait
gonna make sure.
depending on the backlog. You may be waiting a year, even multiple years, to get just one.
Mm-hmm. Because they want to make sure that when that airplane leaves the factory, they want to make sure that that airplane can handle whatever it's going to be getting into whenever the airline gets it. They need to make sure it's able to withstand extreme, and yes, they did say extreme turbulence. See if it can be able to handle sudden changes in the flight path, sudden changes in its.
Different flying it at different weights.
Mm-hmm. See what happens if suddenly if the spoilers are to suddenly deploy in midair. You see how it's able to handle,
You know,
or if one of the engines were to lose power, see how it would handle.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff they do that most people don't see.
Oh no.
No, they basically they do those test pilots do things with those airplanes that probably will never happen in that airplane's lifetime again.
No.
No, okay, yes, you go to Farnborough and Riyadh, and they'll take a 7.8 and an A350, and they do some damn near vertical takeoffs. But
Mm-hmm.
that and the test flights are the only time those airplanes are really, really almost stunt flying.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they have to stunt fly them to make sure they can handle whatever's thrown at them. Because when you're flying, anything can happen.
And,
Anything.
engines, they'll put engines on these massive rigs, run them up, and they will intentionally, you heard me right, intentionally detonate the fan blades.
Mm-hmm.
Put little explosive charges on the fan blades, and when they push that button, those fan blades, they detonate, the charges go off, and the fan blades go into a million, and they test to see if the engine goes bang in midair, can that nacelle contain the explosion?
Because if it can't, then
The
uh
engine
oh.
fails. Because as we all know, last year, the year before, that Southwest engine went bang, and I think fuselage got some cuts and whatnot on it,
It completely burst a window.
which depressurizes the cabin, which is not good.
Oh no,
Because the
no.
air at high altitude is really, really thin.
Oh yeah.
No, but even the engines go through extreme testing. So once they figure out once they get the compressor issue fixed, it'll be like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's that. That's really all we have for today. Like I said, special Saturday episode. We just happened to be looking stuff up and had enough to make an all Boeing episode, which is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Although the last one was like 30 minutes long. But then again, that was fresh off the Paris Air Show. There's a lot to
Oh
talk
yeah.
about.
Oh yes. Most definitely. Sometimes, when big things like that happens, oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot to cover, but most it's
Because
just been a
it's
bunch of small stuff.
because that kind of stuff, that's major press red that, the world finds out what 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 airlines are doing, what Airbus, what Boeing, Embraer are doing. Airbus unveiled the A321neo XLR and the new A330. Well, yeah, the Neo was announced at Paris, wasn't it? The 330 Neo.
I believe so.
I think Paris is really just the time of the year that time every 2 years that the airline industry kind of gets together, the commercial aviation industry gets together and is like, look, this is what we've had up our sleeve, and we're going to make it public now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll be amazed in today's world how fast stuff spreads.
Oh yeah.
All it takes is one person to put it out there on social media, and it's like a wildfire on dry grass. It spreads.
Oh yeah.
And millions of other people get a hold of it, including us.
Yep.
Press gets a hold of it, press releases it. We get the information, we can release it to you guys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
I have nothing further.
Obviously, if we get a major development and Max will try to come back and update you. But really, big thing is they're pushing for an October in service approval. They're
Um,
trying.
they're trying. I don't really see it happening now, but we'll see what happens.
If it happens, congrats to them. Obviously, oh, yeah, and the whole Max thing, it's really unplugging Southwest big time.
Mm-hmm.
Southwest has canceled, I forget how many nonstop routes that would normally be done on a Max. They've stopped doing them nonstop to adjust because of not having the Max for so long.
And yet they still have to fly aircraft that were due for Victorville flights that they now have to keep flying. So yeah.
It's a
Yeesh.
mess. Boeing will recover. I know they will.
I hope so.
I really do. That's, we don't like being Debbie Downer 1 and 2 on here, but sometimes we just have to bring out the bad news.
Yeah. It it's really bad.
They'll get over
You
it though.
know,
They'll find a way over it.
I really hope so
And
because
I hope
it's
and I hope that everyone that watches these, I hope you'll forgive them. I I I still have my faith in the Max. I know it'll prove its worth. It's teething issues. Like this when the Dreamliner came out. The loads of faulty batteries the Dreamliners had.
hmm
Look at them. They found a way around and now the Dreamliner no issues. I
no,
mean,
it's everywhere.
okay, yes, there's the Trent 1000 issue and the one that one of the and an engine. Well, that was a Trent on the Norwegian that went bang, wasn't it?
hmm
That was a Trent 1000 that shit itself, wasn't it?
hmm And shot shrapnel out the back of it.
So yes, Rolls Royce is having problems with an engine that the Dreamliner has as an option. They'll get over it.
hmm
They'll figure out what's causing it. They'll get it fixed, and it'll be good as new.
That's what Rolls Royce said last time when they tried to fix the engines.
Uh,
And look where we are now. Back with yet again another engine issue.
stuff happens. Teething problems. But I have faith in Max. I have faith in Boeing. I hope I can forgive Boeing. I hope you can do the same. We're we're trying not to be like I said. We're not being negative. We're trying to be positive about it. Showing, trying to spread the word that hey, there is good in the airplane. Even Boeing knows there's good in this airplane.
Yeah,
They
their
just have
employees fly in it. The employees fly in the Max aircraft on test flights
they
every
know
chance they get.
they know there's good in the airplane. There was just some teething problems that they didn't know about until unfortunately it
The inevitable happened.
the inevitable happened. The unthinkable happened.
Yep.
That's just how it is sometimes. No, it's like everyone says, no human is perfect. No machine is perfect. An airplane's a perfect example. It's gonna have problems.
hmm
It's like everything eventually, its service life and age gets to the point where, well, it can't be used anymore.
Nope.
MD-80, for example.
hmm Of course.
And update on that, American is trying to get theirs out of service by the end of the year. Delta's just kind of slow rolling it. Obviously, I think American getting theirs out by the end of the year might be on hold right now. Uh, in terms of a mass retirement, because if Max doesn't go up again until next year, which I know everyone in their power is trying to avoid. But I think right now the whole MD-80 retirement thing's been kind of slowed down until Max is flying again, at which point I think MD-80s will really start getting kicked out of service. And I've got a bold prediction here. 10, 15 years down the road, Southwest will be nothing but 737 Maxes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it now. The 7, when it finally is launched, which it was supposed to be launched in March, but then a second unthinkable happened, and the domino effect it's had.
Yeah.
But I can foresee 10, 15 years down the road, maybe even 20, Southwest will have an all-max fleet. Southwest will not have any new gen 7s or 8s. I don't know why they don't own any 739s. They could fill one. If they can fill the 8, they can fill the 9. Or
Yeah, that would be nice. It would be nice to see a 900 in their fleet. That would
especially
be pretty cool.
especially during the holiday season when low cost airlines are the way to go. They could easily fill a 9 on some of their popular routes.
Oh yeah.
Because I recall when I went to Georgia for Thanksgiving a few years ago and we had to go through Lambert. We were on it. It was full. And that was going to Atlanta. So you know that if they really wanted to, they could buy the 9 and probably still make a good profit off it.
Oh yeah.
No, but that's my bold prediction is that Southwest will be one of the few airlines that goes all max somewhere down the road.
I think it would be cool to see Southwest go all max, but
It,
we'll see what happens.
exactly. Only time will tell. They may
Mm-hmm.
they may never choose to go all max. It
Mm-mm.
all depends on how long Boeing's willing to keep up production of non-max 737s.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the 747. They're being produced. The cargo variant the 748 in production still. Cargo version may be the popular version, but they're still getting enough orders that they can build them. Same with
Yep.
the same with the 767. And that design's even older than the 777.
Mm-hmm.
They only make freighter versions out, but they're still building that airframe. And obviously there's going to come a point in time where I know they don't want to, but Boeing's going to have to be like, all right, no more 747s. It's not the way to go anymore.
No.
They don't want to do that because that's their baby. That's what really got them. That's what started the jumbo jet age and the whole wide body era was the 747. Until the A380 started flying 11 years ago, the 747 was the queen of the skies. And the A380, Airbus thought, hey, there's going to be an upsurge in air travel, which is why the A380 has 2 full floors. Well, there ended up being a downfall. Alright, he's falling asleep, so that's going to be the end of the episode. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and we will see you next time. As always, please remember that there is no guarantees of a podcast next week, as sometimes there's nothing happening, as he just said, but I had him muted because he was falling asleep. Anyway, like I said, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. And we will see you in the next one.